Well, thank you so much for this invitation. What I can say is that, well, now with this brilliant intervention of my previous colleagues, well, especially, well, with these last sessions about the Americas legislation, I can say that it's very limited what I can share with you, but I will try to do my best. For sure, thank you to my friend Dr. Chinmaya for this invitation and for this interest for the committee in order to integrate to this important event, well, information about what is happening in terms of safety and pharmacovigilance in the Americas region. So today I would like to try to share with you information about the current scenario that we are facing in the Americas regions in terms of the risk management process. That's why I would like to be focused in three main topics. First of all, for us, it is important to really have like a alignment about the main concepts and also the main expectatives and deliverables about the risk management process. That's why we will go through about concepts and principles. But then, well, important thing to remark is how we are working and implementing risk management tools, risk management activities in the Americas region. And last but not well, and the last component will be focusing, well, what are the impacts that we are generating to our patients in terms of the regulatory framework that we have in the Americas region. First of all, well, when we want to talk about risk, there is like some kind of confusion about different terms that are related with the principles of the pharmacovigilance. For example, we have the concept of harm, that, as you can see, well, the harm is the damage or the injury that is or may be caused by a medicine, including for sure the death. The hazard, well, is the intrinsic chemical or biological characteristics of a medicine or it is used that have the potential to cause harm. In this case, harm, the concept of harm extends to the social and psychological damage or impairment. Especially, this is very important from the patient's perspective. But we have risk. And risk, well, in the simple standard epidemiological definition, basically is the probability that something will happen. And in this case, well, is the probability in the case of the pharmacovigilance field and the risk management process is the probability of harm. So that's why it's very important that as part of the pharmacovigilance process and the risk management process, we should to be focused in the risks that are related with the medicines. And for that, well, hopefully, there is a comprehensive process that is already investigated and established in terms how we can manage risk. First of all, well, this starts with the process to identify and analyze what is a risk. Sorry, I am hearing an echo. Okay, now it's better. Well, and the process starts in this part of the journey for handle risk. But then we need to evaluate, we need to assess what is the information that the data is providing me. And after we assess this info, we need to establish what are the actions that we should take in order to really prevent the occurrence of the risk or minimize the outcomes or the severity or the frequency of that. So once we have a plan, well, the next step should be for sure the implementation of that kind of activities. But the process should continue, and finally we need to really be able to assess if the actions that we are implementing are really working as we expected. If this is not true, well, we need once again to start the process and then try to identify what are the actions or what are the appropriate assessments that we need to conduct in order to really be able to handle risk. And well, I would like just to share with you information that you already know for sure, but just trying to to provide you an overview about how the most acceptable, I can say, a standard in terms of risk management plan was created, well, or was established in the past. For sure, well, most of the countries out of the European region accept the risk management plan as the key deliverable of the risk management process, and this is very aligned with the ICH guidelines, the guideline E2E. We have for sure since November 2006, well, one RMP final template. Recently, well, this template also was updated, but well, this is the standard that in most of the countries in the Americas region, well, is accepted and is using by the companies and by the regulators. So taking this as our reference, we need to consider and remember that there are three important components of this risk management plan, of this risk management document. First of all, we have the safety specifications in which we need to describe all the safety concerns according to three different categories: the important identified risk, the important potential risk, and for sure, the important missing information. Then we need to split our document in order to be able to describe how we are planning to monitor during the commercialization phase this new medicine. And for that purpose, we have the pharmacovigilance plan. But then we also need to describe how we are pretending to minimize the risk that we are considered as part of the safety specification. And for that purpose, we have the risk minimization activities. For both components, we also have two types of approaches. The first one is those activities that are related with routine processes, with routine activities, and well, this is applicable for all the molecules, all the different types of indications. But we also have additional activities in which additional activities should be assessed in order to identify, first of all, if there is a requirement to really implement additional activities. And if the answer is yes, then we need to also provide information why this activity is needed and well, how we are expecting to measure the effectiveness of the implementation of these activities, for example, in the case of the risk minimization. But what is happening in the Americas region? Well, first of all, in Canada, you must need to know that the health authority is named Health Canada. And well, the risk management process in Canada, well, started in 2009 when they adopt the ACH guideline E2E. But then recently in June 2015, well, they published a document that is called the Submission of Risk Management Plans and Follow-up Commitments. This is a guidance document, so it's part of the regulatory framework. And basically here in Canada, well, it's acceptable to submit the EU RMP, but well, what the health authority also asks to the companies is to include a specific addendum in order to include information related with the Canadian population. For example, you can see in the screen, so what are the components that in a specific way the health authority is expected to see about how the actions, the information, the outcomes, etc., will be conducted and implementing according local information. In the case of the United States, in which we have the FDA, well, the approach it's a little bit different. First of all, it is important to mention that in United States, well, the risk management process started in 1917. Why? Because one of the activities that the FDA requires for a specific type of medicines is the need to insert or to have a package insert as part of the products. Then over the time, well, they have important updates about the approaches that they want to implement in the country for the risk management process. But recently, well, in 2007 and 2008, they formalized the approach or the way or the process that they want as the risk management process. Here in US, and this is the only country that we can find this, they don't have a risk management plan as the derivable of the process. They have something that is called REMS, that are referred to the risk evaluation and mitigation strategies. If we pretend to do like a comparison between the European and ICH model and the FDA approach, basically, we can say that the REMS, the risk mitigation and evaluation strategies, are very focused in additional risk minimization activities. So we can say that this approach is like a more practical approach in terms of the risk management and risk minimization activities. So here in the slide, you can see what are all the documents that are already published by the FDA. As well, it's usually by the FDA, and they publish different types of documents in the mock draft, but you can consult and access to them through the FDA website. And as I mentioned, these activities could be considered mainly as an additional risk minimization activities. That's why, this is the type of examples that we can have for this approach for risk management process. So what happened in Latin America? Well, my colleagues, Cynthia, Agustina, and Maria already shared with you important aspects about the complete PV processes and PV legislation. That's why I don't want to go through again in the details that they already shared with you, but I really want to just emphasize how the risk management legislations started in the Latin American region. And as you can see, Brazil was the first country that as part of the PV legislations, a component for risk management plan. Then we have Argentina, Mexico, Chile, Cuba, Costa Rica, Paraguay, and finally, recently, Peru also include in 2019, a specific component about risk management activities for the pharmaceutical companies. But the important thing here is, this analysis that was conducted, last year by FBA, in which they assess a different process and the level of alignment that we have with international standards, especially with ICH standards. And as you can see, in our region, if you find a box in red, this means that we are not aligned with these standards. And for the risk management process, you can see that we have important challenges and important actions to be implemented in order to really be able to have the best practices in place according the experience around the world. So that's why in the region we need to work very hard in order to really be able, once again, to have the best practices in place about a risk management plan. And hopefully, as Cynthia and Maria already mentioned, we have important updates for the Latin American region, in Brazil and in Mexico, in which the agencies are working very hard in order to be or to have more alignment with these international standards. So having this in consideration, we can conclude that at least we have 4 important challenges or maybe next steps around this field. First of all, we need to enhance the understanding of the risk management process and the key concept, because it is very common that once we need to have a conversations or once we want to interpret what the regulator requires in terms of the process, we are not talking about the same things and the same concepts. As consequence of this, for sure, we need to continue working in the update and the robust of our regulatory framework. We need to call all the stakeholders that are part of the risk management process, and this doesn't mean just companies and regulators. This includes healthcare professional, pharmacies, patients, etc. Because the risk management process as the pharmacovigilance is a shared process. That's why the success of the process depends of each of the participants. And lastly, well, for sure, we need to put our patients in the center of our conversation, because at the end, we are working for them. We are working for the positive things that the medicines can bring to them. Thank you so much. And well, it has been a very big pleasure to me to have the opportunity to share these reflections about risk management process in the Americas region.